Welcome back to the Foundation. This is Swaytoven, and I got this new plugin for free. Not promoting it or anything like that, but you might as well get it before they start charging you. It's called Space Spender, and it's a reverb plugin. All right, and reverb is important because it creates spaces for your instruments, for your tracks. All right, and there's different type of reverbs for different type of things. There's effects reverbs. There's normal reverb, I suppose, and those normal reverbs includes ones that are good for like synths and drums and etc. Right? And if you have like multiple synths, you'll send those to like the same bus to create that room. Multiple drums, you know, vice versa. The same thing, not vice versa, but you do the same thing, so on and so on, right? And it's just like I feel like understanding that is cool, but a lot of people whereas they can still hear the effects of the reverb that they're doing, they learn differently because music is a learning experience as well. And it's just like there's visualizing it. Now, some reverbs have visuals like this one, and as you can see, it changes, right? Look at that, you know? And when you start hearing how that stuff sounds with the changes, then, you'll start to understand how it works. But I also believe that, like, if I were to create like a reverb plugin or just something that can really probably maybe be a quote unquote game changer, it's just like I'd go about it a different way. My visuals would be like a lot more cool, but maybe they'd have to be like super simple because of just like computer usage. But only understanding that people learn differently. Yeah, they can learn through by hearing it, but like I've also figured out or just found out on my own, like just like you can also learn how to make music by just seeing it too, right? Even though it's sound, the fact that we found a way to be able to visualize it through graphs and stuff like that just makes it that much better. You know what I'm saying? Makes it that much easier. So it's just like, why not just go like the extra step and just make it more easy to see what's happening, you know? And it's just like if so. Here's an idea that I would have for something like that. It's because it's all about creating spaces for instruments, and it's just like let's say that I created a space and I don't have this plugin, so we're gonna have these patches, for example, and we're gonna have to pretend that I already have like tracks into it, and we're gonna explain it. So let's say like I already had like Patcher loaded up, which is the reverb plugin, right, in mind, and I sent like some strings, and let's say I sent a pluck, and the string's supposed to be far in the background, pluck's supposed to be a little bit closer, right? And you get to see that though, right? And you get to see other settings like the type of reverb it's using, and like you may be a little bit EQ, just some cool small little stuff that people like adds more control for both of them. The more things that I send to here, it's gonna pop up, and then the more things you can control to, it's like a control hub for like a main bus, and this could be like the main reverb bus basically, right? And it's just like we can be sending instruments to it like this, right? And when you send instruments to it, it just pops up like more of these like things right here, right? you know and I just feel like when you edit the instruments specifically on their own tracks, right, with maybe like a lesser instance of the plugin or something that just can grab the information, and that's not unheard of, is because I have this free plugin that is like a curve analyzer where you have to use two instances to analyze the your EQ curves. Even though it's never worked for me yet, but it's still right. It's worked for some people. It's just like it's a would be a cool implementation for this. But it's just like okay. So anyway, you add more and you get to just analyze things within this main reverb space that you've made. So let's say you start doing like mid side, I'm guessing, and let's say you start panning. Let's say you want to add it more to the background, which it's like if you look up how to do it, right? It would say okay, to make something more sound like it's in the background, it's EQing and stuff. You'd have to make like an algorithm or code to like understand that, but it's just like you would visually be able to see all the tiny effects that you're doing, right? With like just what people do in this hub right here, I suppose. If it was closer, maybe this would be bigger, or maybe there's just like a bar that shows how close it is. But if it's bigger, it's so much easier to understand. If it's further away, it gets smaller, and it's just okay. It's further away and it's back there, right? you need a way to like understand how something's like behind you though. You need a way to understand how something would be like panning around too. Now that I'm thinking about it, because it's stereofield, which is like a sphere, um, which I mean, which wouldn't be impossible, is because there's plugins that involve spheres that can show you what's happening. Like the thing is, I already have an idea of how it would be drawn out because it'd have to be something simple. It couldn't be anything crazy. Right? It probably have to be like dots on a graph. You know what I'm saying? But just regardless, like I'm not an auto engineer or a coder, or I don't have money to fund the idea. But it just be like it would help people understand like just where their stuff's and I feel like right they get better at equalizing because I have this idea about equalization because I said something about a sphere. It's interesting is because we look at equalization like, and I could be going crazy here to be honest, but we look at equalization linearly, right? You know what I'm saying? But like, just just imagine a globe, okay? And these lines are basically on the curve of the Earth, right? And it's and like this is basically like a hill. If I were to up it, it's a mountain, and obviously because that's what it looks like linearly. But you had to think about like this is just like the crust of the Earth, right? If you've ever seen pictures of like the planet Earth and stuff like that, let's see. Right? You'd have to imagine it like this right here. All right? Like that. Just like that. Okay? The EQ is like right up there. All right? I suppose you have to kind of forget the rest of it because I'm thinking about it differently because you have to think about EQ is kind of surrounding like the whole plant, like the whole sphere, and it's just like if you raise something, right, you're placing a sound higher up, or if you're lowering it, you're placing it further down. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be kind of cool to have an equal EQ that's like spherical, I suppose. And maybe that's just crazy to me. Maybe that doesn't actually work out. Maybe that's already been thought of and it doesn't work. But it's just like I don't know. Like, but I mean, you don't see me doing. I just woke up from sleeping. Maybe maybe I'm dreaming too much. But like, it'd be like a cool idea instead of thinking about it linearly, because it's just like because like there's what I'm assuming from what I'm hearing. There's phase, there's cancellation, there's linear phase, and think about linearly, but like there's linear phase, but it's just like when you start making spaces, there's linear. I don't know. I don't know anything about audio engineering. That's the thing. So it's just like anyway. I'm just saying shit, right? To pretend I'm being productive in the morning because I'm not gonna make any music to be honest. But that'd be kind of cool. But I should I should use this free plugin that I got though instead of talking. You feel me? See what Space Blender has to offer.